Thank y'all for joining. If you followed us in, you've noticed that on some of the videos, we've had people that passed and no longer with us. Well, this is going to be one. This is going to be my tribute to Lewis Stowe. He was a true pioneer of turkey calling and hunting. He passed away last year, and I met Lewis back in 1980 something, and became friends with him. Never did get to go hunting with him, but I ran into him all the time at these shows we would go to, and he was a great guy. I fell out in touch with him for about 10 years or so, and when I started putting these videos out again, he texted me on YouTube and told me how he enjoyed it, looking at the old stuff. So I'd like to, like I say, do a tribute to Lewis. He was a great guy, and I hope y'all enjoy it.
Old houses back then, a lot of them had the slate roofs and stuff, and I picked up some slate off of where an old house place was at, and sanded it down, and so I just took me actually an old English leather bottle, drilled a hole through it, and put a cedar peg in it, and back then it was common for everybody to burn the ends of them to sort of char, I guess pretty much like a carbon fiber peg now, and so I made me one of those and started hunting, and wasn't many turkeys, and you just had a desire and just stayed at it, and finally successful in killing them. I started wanting to get better and better and better, and I got encouraged to go to a couple calling contests and stuff, and did real well. Met the right people. Met Ben Lee, and to me, he's probably one of the, if not the biggest influence in most of the younger, when I was growing up, age of turkey hunters. He was actually a couple of years younger than what I am, but we hit it off real good and was friends, and he was a great encourager, as with a lot of other callers. Should have learned many years earlier, because my daddy, he died when he was 93, and he'd say, that boy, he wouldn't be nothing if it wasn't for me. He said, I made him what he was. And they'd say, how's that? He said, I was a yes man. He said, every time he'd start doing something for a contest or anything, he'd pull me out there and he'd say, Daddy, how's this sound? He'd walk off out through the woods like I do on the videos and call, and how's that sound? Time two, I was out there and I'd just have, I'd use a wing bone and a corn cob for a striker. And when I'd get through doing that, I just put it up sometimes and just yelp on it like the yelpers. And he said, what'd you use on that last time? And I said, that's that dang wing bone. And he said, boy, that's what you ought to use. He said, that thing sounded more like a turkey than anything you got as far as tone and everything. I just passed it off. But come to find out that he's doggone right. I took a couple of calls that I had made years back, and I tried calling on them. I said, hey, I can't sound like that. So I started, first of all, practicing with what I had, and I saw that what I had wasn't going to do it. So then I started playing around with different hole diameters and different lengths of call, and I'd get one that sounded pretty good. And as with anything, practice it. Desire and practice is the key to becoming proficient at it, especially desire. If you got the desire, you will work, do whatever it takes to become good or become proficient as your ability will allow you. But I'd make a call that sounded pretty good, and as I would get better, I would say that call doesn't cut it. It's sort of an evolution. I still get better through practicing. I run calls every day just purely because I make them. I take them home. Every call I make, I'd say 99% of the calls I make, I take home. As soon as I walk in the door, my dog wants to smell them. He smells them, and I'll lay them there on the counter, and my wife will pick them up and look at the beauty of them and feel them and say, that one looks better than the one yesterday or something like that. And she'll try calling on them. And so it's sort of a family affair that she's grew where she's tolerable of me calling. And it's sort of the story of how I got started in this and why. And it's something that anybody can do. Everybody here, I'm here at the Unicoi show now, and people say, one of these days I'm going to try making one of those, and what can you tell me? Well, the simplest thing is that when you start drilling holes in one and you know what sound you want, if you drill a bigger hole and it don't sound the way you want, you should have had a smaller hole. And same thing on length. When you make an adjustment, if it doesn't sound the way you want it to sound, you went the wrong way. Go the other way.